Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into the brand new context menu that just launched in the Windows Insider's experimental ring. The new context menu is super fast, and it's also really customizable. I'm going to walk you through 3 levels of customizing the context menu, starting with the settings page and all of the new features and toggles inside of there. Then, we're going to look at some tools on GitHub that you can use to add custom commands to the context menu. And finally, we'll take a brief look at how to code against the context menu so that you can add anything that you've ever wanted to the context menu. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I'm on a brand new virtual machine running the latest Windows Insider experimental build with the new context menu. If I go ahead and right-click this text file on the desktop, the new context menu opens. It opens fast and it's more compact than before. I'm going to go ahead and open up the settings page by clicking Customize Menu. And in our new settings page are a ton of new options that you can use to make the context menu exactly how you want. At the top of the settings page are a bunch of settings related to things that come from Windows out of the box. Things that may not have been part of the context menu in Windows 11 up until now, but that you might have gotten used to using in Windows 10. So that might be Send To, Print, Create Shortcut, Copy as Path, which is on by default, Rotate Image. Let me go ahead and turn on Create Shortcut just to go ahead and demonstrate that. And you notice immediately Create Shortcut shows up in the new context menu. Now there's a section called App Extensions. Let me go ahead and explain what that is. So if I right-click this and I go over into App Extensions, you'll notice that Edit in Notepad, one of my app extension verbs, verb being one of the items in the menu, is in this overflow. And hey, I like Edit in Notepad. Edit in Notepad is really useful for me. So if I want to get that to be at the top level, I'm going to go ahead and toggle Notepad on. And now, Edit in Notepad comes right to the top of the menu. And just to demonstrate, I'm going to also turn off Copilot, and Copilot is going to go into the App Extensions overflow. The next section of the settings page gives you some more options on how to make the context menu more intuitive depending on the muscle memory that you may have developed using the context menu in the past. First, you can arrange the primary actions in line. The primary actions being cut, copy, paste, rename, share, and delete that show up as a horizontal command bar today in the context menu. And so if I go ahead and I turn that on, you'll notice that in the context menu, these are now in line. I'm going to go ahead and leave that for the time being. The next item is called Keep Cloud Storage Actions in their own section. Now you'll notice that because I've got a little cloud on my text file here, my desktop is backed up to OneDrive, and so OneDrive shows up at the top level here in a section specific for cloud providers, but I might not want that. It might be, sort of more than I need at any given moment because I just sort of let it do what it needs to do. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And if I do, OneDrive is just treated like any other app, even if you're in a OneDrive folder. Now, if you find yourself needing to go to the legacy context menu a lot, hopefully with the new context menu and with all the stuff that we go through today, that won't be as often. You can turn Show More Options back on, but keep in mind, you can always get to the legacy context menu by doing Shift right-click. If you remember that keyboard shortcut, the keyboard and right-click shortcut with Shift and right-click, then you really don't need to turn that on, but it's there if you want it. And last, we have Move Properties to the bottom of the context menu. Now, for a lot of folks, they got really used to having properties at the bottom of the Windows 10 context menu, and having it in the middle just made it a lot harder to find. So in this case, Properties now goes to the bottom so that you have that muscle memory of just go to the bottom of the menu and Properties is right there. And there you go, the new context menu. Super customizable, opens really fast, and now we're going to get into the next stage of customization using some additional utilities that I've made available on GitHub. So let's start digging into that. Now the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to turn on developer mode and some other settings to to make sure that the PC is prepared to do everything that we're about to go do. So I'm going to turn on developer mode, and also I'm going to make it so that I can run scripts that aren't signed. And now I'm going to show you my context menu tools, and I'll have a link here in the YouTube description to make it easier for you to get to this. But my context menu tools is a context menu extension that lets you change in real time with no Explorer restart or any other changes, a set of commands that you can put into the context menu and customize. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. I'm going to go ahead and copy the Git URL, bring terminal back up. I'm going to go over to my source folder, and I'm going to do git clone with that URL. Inside of this folder is a folder called scripts, and in scripts is a dependency installation wizard. And this will get everything that you need, including the Windows SDK, so that you can build this project and modify it and do anything that you want with it. One more thing that we're going to need is we're going to need the latest version of PowerShell. So let me go ahead and use winget again. And to launch the latest version of PowerShell, I'm just going to type pwsh. And then let's go to okay. Now if I run this command, install build prerequisites, it'll go ahead and install everything that we need for this project. Now this is going to take a while, so like any good cooking show, I've got one already in the oven. So let's go ahead and go to the checkpoint in this virtual machine where this is already all installed. Okay, and we're back. The build prerequisites have been installed. If I go ahead and I list what's in the scripts directory, you'll see that there's a setup wizard. So let's go ahead and run that. Okay, great. So the project has been deployed. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that just did. So let's go back to the desktop where we've got the example.txt file. If I right-click it, you'll notice that under My Tools, which we've moved to the top level through Settings, I've got a few options: Make Back File, Touch File, Copy SHA-256 to Clipboard, and Open My Tools Config. So if I go ahead and I open My Tools Config, let's just open that in Notepad. And VS Code would be a great choice here because it'll do syntax highlighting. You'll notice that all of the commands that are inside of My Tools are defined in this text file, and they'll update in real time. So for example, if I right-click this txt file and we look at here where it says make back file, if I go ahead and search for back, we're going to just retitle this to make backup file, save. And now if I right-click this again and I go into My Tools, you'll see that now it says make backup file. And that's not just for the display name. If you change what this command does as well, that will also be affected. So let's go ahead and test that out. I'll click make backup file, and you notice here that I now have an example.txt.back. And this is just to demonstrate what this tool can do. So if there's something that you've always wanted to have in the context menu but isn't offered by any app, and you don't really want to go and write something completely from scratch and you want the convenience of being able to edit it at any time, this is a great option. And it's a totally open source project, and I would really encourage everyone to contribute to it and to really help to make it awesome. We can also do some stuff with folders. So we're in my downloads folder, and if I right click under My Tools, you notice there's some different options because the options depend on file types and other targets. So here I've got open in terminal admin, and this is super useful because, you know, always been able to open up terminal, but sometimes you need terminal to open up as an elevated admin window. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. And now I've gotten, you can tell from the shield in the top left of terminal that I am in an elevated admin. In addition, it says admin here in the tab, administrator terminal. So in addition to adding your own commands or using the commands that come with My Context Menu Tools, one of the things that it can do is it can help make it easier to use apps that you may be using every day as part of your workflow, but that haven't ported over from the Windows 10 context menu to the Windows 11 context menu. And a great example here is 7-Zip. So if you're a dedicated 7-Zip user and you have it installed and you right click this txt file, it's just not going to be there. So let's go ahead and bring it into the Windows 11 context menu to make it easier to use. I'm going to run the setup wizard again, and this time we're going to get to a specific option, and I will demo how it can scan for different applications that might not have ported to the Windows 11 context menu and help add entries. Here it says scan for supported apps that still use legacy context menu verbs. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, and it's going to scan for 7-zip, and it detected it, and let's go ahead and register. And now, when I right-click this txt file, you'll notice that under app extensions, we have an entry for 7-zip. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring that up to the top level. One quick thing to note here is that I've got the default configuration set up so that it's just got archive-related actions, but if you do want the SHA and CRC-related actions, there's an item here called Edit 7-zip config, which if you click, you can open this in Notepad or your favorite text editor. And here commented out are all of the different SHA and commands that come with 7-zip if you want to turn those on and make those easy to get to. My hope is that over time and through the help of the community, we can add more apps into this tool so that people can just run it and get a context menu that's really comprehensive for all of the tools that they use in their day-to-day workflow. But let's say that's not enough. Let's say you really want to take it to the next level and customize the context menu in a way that isn't possible just through editing the JSON files that come with my context menu tools. The next step is to code against the context menu. And that's never been easier with the help of agentic coding tools such as Claude Code and GitHub Copilot, which is what we're going to use today. And that's going to be our third and final level of customizing the context menu. Okay, so now we've got GitHub Copilot command line opened with the context being on the My Context Menu Tools source directory. Let's go ahead and add something new and creative to My Context Menu Tools. We'll add another top-level entry, sort of like how we showed with either My Tools or 7-zip. We'll add another one. So let's go ahead and make something that can convert anything, let's say, for example, from one format to another, right? Basically like converting between different file formats. Okay, looks like GitHub Copilot has finished working, so let's go ahead and take a look at what it says. It says, implemented file flip as a top-level preset with native TXT to PDF conversion. It supports common text encodings, multiple selections, and avoids overwriting existing PDFs. Okay, so we just run our manage context menu extensions PS1 script, and we'll add the file flip preset. And let's go ahead and copy that. And oh, there we go. Under app extensions, here we go. We've got file flip, convert TXT to PDF. And it's just using this default icon that comes with My Context Menu Tools that you can absolutely change. So let's go ahead and click that. And hopefully in no time, a PDF should pop out. And there we go. So let's double click it. And there we go. There's our text file as a PDF. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you're enjoying using the new, faster, customizable context menu. Let me know in the comments what you think, and would love your contributions to the My Context Menu Tools project. Feel free to fork it. Feel free to raise issues and to suggest changes. And as always, we so appreciate you using Windows and for participating in the Windows Insider program. And talk to you all soon. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye now.